Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
Before we begin today's episode, we wanted to give a shout out to Lurks, who supports us at the Feral Venerator of Soirein level on our Patreon. Thank you so much for your support.
Speaking of Patreon, we asked our generous supporters over at Patreon what they'd like us to talk about for our next episode, and they wanted to hear about the queerest moments from season 1 of The Wheel of Time. So Camille compiled a list of the queerest moments from the first season, and then we voted on them and came up with the top 10, which we'll share with you all today. Camille, since you're the one that compiled the initial list, do you want to talk a little bit about it and how you defined a queer moment in the show?
Yeah, so when we first decided to go, when we first figured out that that was going to be the topic of the week, I tried to remember some of the moments that definitely was considered like either queer or, I don't know, close to queer, like either subtext or very definitely in the text as queer. There's some that are definitely just subtext because I wanted to add some that are not absolutely queer. And yeah, the show does have a lot of real textual queer moments, so we're also going to talk about that. And some of them we thought were more important than others, so I made a list. I made weird forms that we could just each of us vote and rank our top 10, and at some point I made some basic average, and that's what we got. So we got a top 10. And then after making the form, I realized that I had missed a very significant moment. So I'm going to have to give an honorable mention to that moment. And this is basically whenever Moraine shows up with suspenders, which I know on Tumblr was very significantly noticed by queer women. So that's for all of you. Moraine's suspenders is going to have the honorable mention of our top 10 today.
I feel bad for not reading that as queer because I just read it as she's a badass lady, but looking back, it was a very, very queer moment.
I'm sorry, but you got Moraine with fingerless gloves and the suspenders, and that
is a power queer moment.
Yeah, I feel like every queer moment at some point in their life wore that outfit. Maybe not everyone, but almost everyone.
I was gonna say, I'm everyone, because I love that.
It's pretty iconic.
Is that like how you get your lesbian card?
I don't know. It's the suspenders and the gloves. It's
I definitely rock suspenders, for sure.
I could never rock suspenders, but I'm glad that Moraine can, because it gives me someone to look up to who can wear suspenders. Because that's why we look up to her, right? Just because of the suspenders.
It's the suspenders. I mean, don't forget the fingerless gloves, but also, more importantly, the suspenders.
If she weren't wearing those, she'd just be pretty lame, so...
Yeah.
And I'm canceled.
What would be the point?
And also, just saying that it signifies that her character always keeps us in suspense.
Oh, God.
That was so bad. That was so bad. Anyway, I think, Matt, please tell us what was our number 10 in our top.
Okay, so my bad jokes aside, I'm going to be introducing each of the top 10 and guiding, I guess, us into that. So, without further ado, number 10 is from episode 7, when Perrin gets into Rand's personal space, which we all kind of ranked pretty low.
Yeah, because it's subtext. But at the same time, Perrin... Yeah. You're the only woman I've ever loved was my wife. Why do you need to be so close to Rand to tell us that?
Yeah.
It's just the epitome of the now kith meme.
Yes.
Now kiss.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, not to bring in other fantasy properties, but it's just so much subtext. Like Stranger Things gives us more gay Will subtext than this scene with Perrin and Rand did. So I had to rank it pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mostly had that as a joke to the list, but yeah, it deserves this mention.
It deserves a mention because
Yeah.
I think it is a very odd moment. And we get to read as much into that as we want because we're gay, and that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've had a lifetime of doing that.
There's so many people that were not fond of the triangle thing between Perrine, Rand, and Egwene. And I'm like, yeah, but maybe Perrine is not into Egwene, but into Rand instead. And that makes the triangle a bit more interesting too.
There we go.
I love that triangle.
Yeah. Is it even a triangle, though?
It's just a line.
Because Perrin has no intention of...
It's just a bless their hearts.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. It's exactly that.
It's a silly crush that Perrin never acted upon, and knows that he has killed his wife and went through the wind of, how does Ali call that? The wind of intrusive thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of confess that this is one of the aspects of the show that I thought wasn't quite well done. Not the queer aspect, but the triangle aspect. It felt very CW to me. Like, do we really need this love triangle when we really need to be getting into the meat of the main storyline? I appreciate the subtext getting up into Rand's business moment, but I think it just didn't serve anything other than a bit of drama for drama's sake. And I know I'm going to get yelled at, not by anybody on here, but I might get yelled at on Twitter for that, because I know some people liked that triangle aspect.
I mean, I think it served a purpose because it needed to create conflict for Rand so he could more easily make that cut.
Yeah.
But I do agree that it wasn't done super well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cute.
And also, like, it's I always forget how young they are. And even on the show, like, they've kind of been aged up, but they're still very young adults. And this is very much of like, when you're young, you do not know how to properly handle your emotions, and you don't know how to deal with difficult situations, and this is what happens sometimes.
To be fair to Perrin, I'm in my 30s, and if I was around Rand, I wouldn't know how to deal with my emotions either.
Only your emotions?
We're going to cut that part out.
No, we won't.
That's the title of the episode. Only your emotions?
Only your emotions?
All right. So I think that's probably enough on that one.
I think that's definitely enough. So I'm going to move us on to number 9 from the unrightfully maligned episode 5. And this moment is Steppen and Lan talking about sleeping with men. Now, all of us ranked this relatively low, except for James, who ranked it number 5. Kind of want to know why.
I liked this scene a lot because it was very casual. And for me, we are going to do a separate episode just on how casual the queerness was in season 1. So I'm not going to get too in depth with this. But for me, it was like a nice, sweet moment that made me go, oh, it's cute. They're happy. They're not against it. It's just, obviously he's going to kill himself, but not because he doesn't want to sleep with guys, just because he's sad.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. It's very rare that we get this sort of a suicide, I guess, for the lack of a better word, that isn't tied in with queerness. And it's an awful situation, which leads to a powerful moment, but I'm glad that they took it in the direction that they did as opposed to what they could have done.
5 is probably a little generous, but I just liked the dynamic between Lan and Steppen. It was really just two like super manly, tough dudes being queer adjacent for a little bit, and that was hot.
And like, there's such a vulnerability in that scene too. Like, it's and even with the rankings, like, the only reason that some of them are a little bit lower, at least for me, than others is like that there are others that I loved just that much. And so, like, watching this, episode 5 has become one of my favorite episodes of the season, and I will defend it to the death. And it is it is primarily because of, that scene between Lan and Steppen. It's a beautiful scene, and I've never, especially for, I think, a fantasy show, like, it was just a super chill conversation. Like, there was no, it's just really casual. And again, like, James said, we're going to get into more of that. But if it weren't for, I'll be honest, if it weren't for Moiraine and Swan, this probably would have been higher.
It's true.
I mean, I think that's definitely fair. They kind of dominated some of... You'll see. They dominated some of this.
Spoilers.
I was also trying, when making that list, I didn't want to make it only about Maureen and Swan, because while there's a lot less moments between men, I still think they are important to mention. And also, I was actually surprised. I was not expecting before watching this TV show that we'll have that many moments that have either queer subtext or that have very clear queer textual moments. That's definitely was not on my bingo list before, not a bingo list, bingo card before watching the show.
Yeah, and again, we'll talk about this more with casual queerness, but it's, we were expecting bits of drops here and there, and we got a lot. Which I guess takes us to the next, if everybody is, talked about that lovely moments. Lovely but sad. Our number 8, okay, who labeled it this? Number 8 is
me.
Camille, you naughty thing. Episode 6, number 8 is lesbian foreplay. First hall scene
of episode 6.
Everyone ranked it kind of low, except for me. I ranked it number 5, and to be honest, I don't really know why I ranked it number 5.
I think you were tired.
I was really tired.
That was the first old scene, meaning when Sian says to Maureen, when she says on your knee, Maureen, and remember that well when your forehead and your lips touch this marble and you beg your mother for mercy.
That was I remember the first time I watched that scene and I was like, okay, Suwon's a little unhinged right now. She's a little gone. What are they doing?
Maybe I ranked it so high because you know how straight men sometimes have this gross fixation with lesbian porn. As someone who's not a straight man and not really, I don't...
You just don't watch much lesbian porn. It's okay.
I don't watch lesbian porn, but when Swan said that, I was like, yes, ma'am. So maybe that's why I ranked it as high as I did. Because I was like, ooh, it's getting a little hot under my collar.
Yeah.
So.
I just remember watching so many reaction video from non-readers to episode 6 and the number of person who were very intimidated by Swan and thinking, oh, she's completely losing her mind, and then being surprised by the reveal of Swan and Maureen being together. And I just love the contrast.
It's delicious. It's so good.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, watching that scene, even though beforehand I kind of knew, I knew what was happening behind the scenes, but that whole, when Swan goes on that whole tirade to Maureen, and when she's like, on your knees, I almost was like, I sat up straighter. I was like, is she talking to me? I get on my knees now? Oh
my God.
Me? Come on.
Me?
Pretty sure that was all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, who would not?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, I would just... when she first started, when she first starts, railing in on Moraine, but then I'm like...
No, the railing comes later.
The railing comes later, but, Camille was kind enough to put this quote in here when Swan was like, but I am the Amerlin seat. This is my tower, my city, my world. And I'm like, okay.
Ooh.
Does being the Amerlin mean something a little bit different? Because I was like, you're going a little heavy, but I like it. I live for it.
It's hot. Should I have ranked this higher? I'm rethinking my choices now. Maybe
it's too late. It's too late. The choice has been made. The rank has been made. You cannot modify anything.
It's gonna stay at number 8.
Okay.
All right. What is the next one?
Yeah, the next one is number 7, which is from episode 6 as well. It's almost like episode 6 is the gay episode.
Interesting.
But number 7 is Swan's speech to Egwene and Nynaeve, which we all ranked more or less around the same.
This one is definitely... It's not really subtext. It's not textual either. In the sense that it's a speech. It's a pretty speech that Swan is making to Egwene and Nynaeve, and it's really about them thinking they deserve something different than what life is giving them. to wonder why you couldn't just stay home, love the people you love, grow old with them, protect them, support them. And it's, I mean, Nynaeve Gwen doesn't understand, like, doesn't know what really it means, but you get, while Swan is saying that, you get her turning a bit toward Moraine, and then you see Moraine's face, and it just sucks because it has a lot of meaning when you know about their relationship and you know the sacrifices they've made for this quest for the dragon.
It was just really sentimental and sad to hear them say the quiet part out loud, because these are feelings that they've been struggling with, and I can't see them having this conversation with each other, even one-on-one, because they're way too vulnerable, but Siuan can say it to these young girls in front of her, and then Moraine gets it, and Moraine gets a little emotional. You can see it, and it's just, it's a really close scene for them, and it's really sweet. I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Moraine kind of gets the same expression when later in that episode when they're all meeting back with the horses, and she's watching them all have their reunions, and she's watching Rand and Egwene have their reunion, and she just gets this sort of like almost wistful expression on her face, and it's just like, you know, she's just basically left the love of her life, and she thinks that she's never going to see her again. Like, I'm positive that's what she's thinking.
She better be wrong. You hear that, Rafe?
Like, she better be. Rafe, do you hear me?
Rafekins, if you're listening, we love you and we love what you're doing with the show. But if you don't give Moraine and Siuan a reunification, I will find you and I will keep you in my basement until you write the ending that I want. Love you.
That sounds right to me.
And I'm supposed to be the scary one.
You said it with too sweet of a voice. Like, I didn't quite buy it. I get that you were going for...
I did buy it.
Okay.
The sweet voice is what puts them off.
It was just a sweet scene.
I actually don't have anything to add to this scene. I'm actually like we're not changing the rankings, but I'm not sure why I ranked it so high. I mean, it's number 7 and I ranked it 7. I don't know why I didn't rank it lower, because I get where y'all are coming from and it's sweet, but I think I'd actually rank the Steppen and Lan talking about sleeping with men a bit higher because of the casualness of that we talked about. I don't know. It's a sweet scene and I get it. And I definitely get where y'all are coming from. But if we are ready to move on to number 6.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Number 6 is, again, from episode 6. We'll just rename the episode Gay. That's it.
It's a Moraine episode, so obviously it's a gay episode.
It's a gay episode, yeah.
Not Gay, Gey. Gay. So this is the Swan Sanch waits for only one woman, and it's not you.
Yes.
Oof. Yes. I loved that.
Oh my god.
The cockiness.
Oh. There is nothing quite like that post really good sex swagger. It really does put a pep in your step. And that's what Moraine is she's vibing. She's having a great time.
I mean, she hasn't got any in 2 years. Exactly. I would be smug like that too.
Absolutely. James, are you okay? Are you okay, James?
No, it's just for me, I didn't actually like put that into context. That had happened right afterwards.
Really?
Me either.
For me, it was just like a gay cherry on top of a already gay Sunday. It was just this nice little one-liner that was like, oh, did she really? Oh my god. And it made me really, really happy. But like, I did not think about it as like post-coital cockiness.
It has.
She's riding high.
All the gay boys are like, oh yeah, get it, Moraine. And all the gay girls and theys are like,
well, she got it. That's why.
She got it.
She's got it. She got it, and she's feeling it now.
I forgot. Who was she putting in their place in that scene? Was it Nynaeve or Egwene?
It's always Nynaeve.
Nynaeve and Egwene.
And Egwene, yeah. Mostly Nynaeve.
It's basically Moraine telling the Amyrlin is expecting us, and Nynaeve, let her wait.
Let her wait, yeah.
Swan Sanche waits for only one woman, and it's not you.
Not you.
No, I don't usually like it when someone is sassy to Nynaeve, but this is definitely the exception. I mean, it's just so perfect.
Okay, but like Moraine had some good sassy moment against Nynaeve in that
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
Like,
She did.
For sure.
if wisdom is the title you claim.
Oh my God.
You should use some. Whew.
That one made me pause. I did pause.
I paused, I laughed, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
that's a burn.
And the worst part was that Nynaeve was like, fuck, she's right.
She's like, okay, you won. You won that one. Fuck you.
You got me, girl.
I can't picture Nynaeve doing that, but you know what? I'm just going to take your word for it because I can't see anything else actually happening.
I guess the one thing I'm curious about with this one is like, did they ever think about who it was? Who the one woman was?
I'm sure Nynaeve has stored that away.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Egwene's probably like, oh, it's probably the keeper or something. Whereas Nynaeve is like, you licked her pussy.
Oh my God, James.
You know what I'm curious about? Because I know what the next moment is. It's also because Nynaeve was there when Moraine was whispering Swan's name.
Yes, she was.
So does she know?
Oh, yes.
Will she connect the dots some point? And you know what? I'm not sure if I want her to, because in a sense that there's nothing funnier than someone who has all the clue right in front of them and still miss them.
And they don't get it.
And I want Nynaeve to be the clueless possible to the ridicule point.
It just keeps going right over her head. I'm sorry, I can't stop thinking about James saying, she licked her pussy, didn't she?
I think James gave us the title of the episode.
We can't make that the title of the episode.
We can't make that the title. That can't be it.
You licked her pussy.
You licked her pussy.
No, I cannot put that at the title of the episode. I already had to put the stress redacted.
One of them being redacted. I say pussy too much. I apparently.
Ma'am.
I noticed.
You do.
I know. I do the post-production and sometimes look at the transcript. So I know. I've noticed.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, just for the transcript, so it gets like bumped up on our percentage of words. Pussy, 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 pussy.
There we go.
Stop. Good heavens.
The worst is that it will work.
I know. I've seen the transcriptions too.
Exactly.
Pussy.
If James is quite done.
Just replace it with like in post. Just meow.
No, I will never do that, okay? I will never. I don't have the patience for that. There's too many pussy in that conversation.
Okay. Number 5, Matt. Go ahead.
Oh, do I have your permission, Mr. Pussy Master, to say
Oh, no.
to go on to number 5?
Mr. Pussy Master!
Is it Pussy Master or Puss Master? Which do you prefer, James?
I prefer Miss Puss.
Miss Puss.
Of course you do.
Okay, Miss Puss. I'm going on to number 5. With your permission, thank you. So number 5 is from episode 3, and this is actually a top 3 moments, but it's ranked number 5 in the aggregate because somebody ranked it so low because they're wrong. So Camille, Matt, and Kat, we all ranked it 3 and 2, whereas
Yes.
James, Miss Puss, ranked it number 9. James, what the fuck?
Yeah, explain yourself, James.
You still haven't told what the moment was.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I was so caught up with how wrong James was that I forgot to say what the name of the moment was, and that's Moraine being unconscious but gay in episode 3.
And whispering Swan's name.
She just mutters the word "Swan, Swan."
Gaily whispering Swan's name.
I just
Am wrong?
didn't care for it. It was cute, but it just didn't mean as much to me.
Because there wasn't pussy licking.
Gosh, Matt, please stop.
It sounds vulgar when you say it.
Oh, so you can say it all you want to, but when I say it,
It just sounds dirty when you say it.
I mean, I feel awful for saying it. I'm gonna go to like the nearest church and say some like confessionals or whatever that they do at the Catholic Church.
I mean, okay, so instead of y'all being super mad at me, tell me why it meant a lot to you.
So I can explain. So first thing first, I watched the first 3 episodes in a plane full of people because I don't even know where I was that weekend. And I remember being in the plane and watching that, and that was the first moment when like maybe they were about to give us Moraine and Swan. And before that, I did not believe they could do that. And then I see Moraine whispering Swan's name. And I'm there very happy that I was with a mask in the middle of that freaking plane, because I was trying not to squeal and my face was like big green. And yeah, it was a big moment for me. It was, and also it's like the first queer moment, because I think at that time we don't have yet the conversation between Dana and Rand, right?
No, I don't think so. I think you're right.
It happens in the same episode, though, I think, right? Episode 3?
But much later.
But later, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Watch us be wrong.
For me...
So what I'm hearing is y'all were doubtful of the fact that it was going to be super queer, because I always had the belief that Rafe was going to be super, super gay with it.
I was hoping to, but like the thing is that there's so many showrunner or like creative person that they want to add queerness to TV show, or it's very true typically in animation, where they want to have a queer story and they have to constantly fight with higher executive in order to be allowed to make things gay. And I was not sure whether he would be allowed to go with it.
That's fair.
And, you know, after those of us who watched Supernatural and watched Destiel just crumble under bad writing towards the end, oh boy. And years of Will Byers being a little gay child, but not being a gay child, because it's up to the audience to interpret. Like, just all of these... You know, Heartstopper hadn't come out. We didn't have a lot of mainstream shows that were like super gay, but also not focused on being gay, if that makes sense. So it wasn't that I was not expecting it. Like, I trusted Rafe to make it gay, but I didn't expect the first gay moment to be so understated. And I think the fact that it's a very understated, very small moment, blink and miss moment, and yet so in your face and so powerful once you go back and watch with all the soiree and context, I think that's really what puts it so high for me.
And it's a moment, if you don't have subtitle on, you miss it.
Yes.
So very small moment. And also, I mean, when they said that Moraine was going to be the lead, like before knowing that, I was like, so maybe if she's a side character, having queer side character is a bit more common. As a lead, I did not think they would put a queer lead in a big fantasy show, and that was supposed to be the next Game of Thrones. So
yeah, it's. I mean, for me, like it was more just like the context within the context of everything, and just like literally what was happening. Like, Moraine was literally at death's door. I think if it wasn't for Nynaeve being able to, you know, do her stuff, she very easily could have died. And Moraine was already depicted as someone who is so focused on her task of finding the Dragon Reborn and keeping him from the Dark One and all of that. And, you know, in her last kind of, you know, potentially her last moments, she's not thinking about the Dragon Reborn. She's not thinking about this big, huge quest. She's thinking about the women that she loves. And that's all she is. That's all that's on her mind. And so for me, that's what really did it for me. That's what got me. But that's more because, like, you know, I knew kind of, or hoped kind of going into it, where they were going with Moraine and Swan. And, you know, that scene kind of cemented. I was like, oh, okay, so they are really going for it then. Because this is going to be a moment where, you know, like, people, show only watchers, or like, you know, show only fans are going to watch this and be like, who the hell is Swan? What does this mean? What is she talking about? And then they'll get to episode 6 and be like, oh, okay, this is what she's talking about, you know? And so it's just, I don't know, it's just it just really got me. Like, Swan was who she was thinking about when she was on death's door.
Yeah, I just one more thing. That was very sweet, Kat.
I know.
For our listeners, Camille is putting their hands over their chest, and it's very sweet.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things is that a lot of queerness on TV is expected to focus on queerness. So if your main character is a lesbian, it's expected that the show is going to to make, it's going to be a show focused on what it means to be a lesbian, and that content's great. Don't get me wrong. I think we need more queer themed queer content. But what gets lost is what we call casual queerness, which is, again, a major topic for another episode on the podcast. But just seeing a character who's gay or trans or bi, and it's not the focus of their character, but they are unambiguously, unquestionably, and unapologetically that, in addition to being a major character playing in a role that doesn't have to do with their sexuality or their gender identity, is huge. Because until the last 5 years, we were just swept under the rug or made to be comedic fodder, or if we were on an episode of Glee, made to be the very special after school episode.
Yep. And
Wheel of Time avoids that, and I love it. So anybody else, anything with the casual swan moment? Okay. So the number 4 spot is in episode 6. Everyone ranked this 5 or above except for me. I don't know why, but it is the marriage oath. So James ranked it number 1. Why did you rank it so high?
Because they're getting married. I cried during this scene. Like I couldn't pause it because I could not. But I cried. Like the way it mirrored the daughter of the river, clever as the pike, strong as the tides.
Oh no.
The way that mirrored to the promo, or not the promo, the cold open, I lost my shit. Like they had, like, and that just shows like the attention to detail. Like they clearly had talks about this, because that's a thing that he said. Well, he probably said it multiple times, but like that's a story that Swan shared with Moraine, and Moraine marries her with it, and it's just fucking cute and sad and heartbreaking. And maybe I am incredibly broken because I associate sad love stories with queerness with sad love stories, and it just kind of like, it was just a perfect scene. So that is why it's number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't challenging it. I actually, not to admit this, but I ranked it number 8 by accident.
This bitch.
I know.
You forgot about that scene.
I am such a dingy.
You were like, marriage oath, meh.
No, anyways, I agree. It was so sweet. So sweet.
I think at first I had ranked it 4, but then we had a few equalities between the moments, so I decided to rank it lower so we would not have 2 Syrian moments in the top 3.
You try to split it up a little bit.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing is this is rigged. Fake news.
Fake news run by lesbians.
I'm sorry, I do not like equalities. Wait, no, that's not what I mean.
Thank you for admitting that. Thank you for admitting that you hate equality, Camille. Especially against sapphic people.
Hey!
That sapphic thing is going to follow us forever.
I mean, yes, I like it.
I like it. It's a better word than lesbian.
I hate the word lesbian.
I know you do.
I have personal history with it, and I cannot stand it.
I like sapphic.
Yeah. I think sapphic is much more inclusive. I have a complicated relationship with the word lesbian as well, but I think that's maybe for a different episode.
Yeah, I'm neither sapphic nor lesbian, so whatever you want me to refer to you as, I will do that happily.
So technically, lesbians is originally it was also used for like bisexual women, because it's like it has the same origins as sapphic. It's Sappho and Lesbos. It's just that slur as a kid. I did not like it. Anyway,
this is a heavy moment on the podcast. It's where we share our feelings.
Being queer is hard.
Yeah, being queer sucks.
It's a lot.
No, we chose this life.
We made the choice.
We chose this life. It's because we wanted to be different.
Yes, we just wanted to be edgy.
We wanted attention. And for Matt and I, our fathers just didn't love us enough growing up.
Ouch.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, that's so true. No, Dad, if you're listening, which you're not, because he doesn't know that this podcast is a thing, but if he ever does, I love you. You're a good dad. You did good.
I know my parents will never listen to that because none of them understand English well, so there's that.
My dad just doesn't give a shit about fantasy, so he supports me, but yeah.
One thing that I did wanted to mention is that, so when we are talking about a marriage oath, we are not just like extrapolating.
No.
When Moraine say, I do swear to honor and obey Swanson, there is a quote from Rafe Jenkins saying, like, he basically was in an interview where he was asked whether, like, what's going to be the implication of the oath, that, like, the fact that Moraine swore to Swan and not to the O'Merlin seat, whether it was going to give Moraine less or more room to work with in the future. And he mentioned a bit about, like, whether it's, like, may complicate things or not, but also what I think he was thinking was the most important part was when he said, but I think the goal was in that scene at least to see something akin to like a marriage bond between those two women, a bond of trust in a world where you can't trust anyone. So we are not extrapolating. It is a marriage oath. They may be the only two person in the room to recognize it as that, but it's something significant between the two of them.
And they're holding a magical cock, so.
They're holding a magical cock.
God damn it. I was hoping we could avoid talking about that.
How dare you try and silence us?
We can't.
How
it cannot be
dare.
silenced.
If they ever make an Oath Rod replica, I am willing to throw down a lot of money onto it.
You want an Oath Rod dildo?
No, that's disgusting.
Let's not let James talk about what they're going to do with the Oath Rod.
I thought it was like really intricate and beautiful. I liked, you know what, y'all are wrong. Y'all need Jesus.
I hate it because I never before that quote from Rosamund Pike, I had not thought about it as a dildo at all. It did not cross my mind.
Because they were very careful about how they held it.
Yeah, so they did a very great job.
They did.
We have that fair little cupcake to thank for. I love her. She's so unhinged.
You know what? She 100% did that intentionally, though. She was like, I'm gonna let me sprinkle some chaos here.
She's a chaotic woman.
Oh yeah.
I love her. I want her to be my mother. Okay.
Nah.
Just because incest is wrong, Camille?
me and Camille are like, no, I don't think so.
No, because I care too much about my mom to say I would want anyone but her as my mom.
Oh.
Ew.
That's sweet. Oh, James, don't poo-poo on Camille's sweet.
Ooh, my parents love me. I have a good relationship with my parents. Ooh.
Yeah, my parents haven't fallen down the Trump cult. Ooh, look at me.
I'm a fake gay.
Okay.
Are you even gay if you have a relationship with your parents?
There you go.
I don't know.
So I think we can move on to the top three.
Yes.
And from here on out, the rankings are all very consistent. Number 3 is from episode 4, and the label is Water Fire, but really it's more like Maxim and Yvonne and Alana on fire. Am I right?
Yes.
I really dislike you. I really strongly dislike you.
I hate myself for not thinking about that. Yeah, so it's a very nice. So there's two parts in that moment that makes it very nice. One is just how cute Maxim and Evan are when they are cuddling, and when like Evan is teasing Maxim, like don't encourage him. That was so cute, and I loved it. And yeah.
And then Alana gets involved, and it just gets better.
Yeah.
It's just
so good.
Nynaeve's innocence.
Oh,
Bless her
Nynaeve's
heart.
reaction is what makes it. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's just like that when the realization hits her, she's like,
Oh,
interesting.
And Lan's reaction to Nynaeve's reaction is also just gold.
Very good. Yeah.
I think this was kind of like the big cultural eye-opener for Nynaeve. Like, she was in control for most of everything else, but this thing took her by surprise, and she was like, fuck, that's an option.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not even treated as like, what I liked too is that Nynaeve's reaction is not one of like disgust or disapproval. It's just like, she's just realized like, oh, this is, like you said, James, this is an option.
And we want to keep this relatively spoiler free from the books, but this scene also serves a very important purpose to lay out some, I guess, poly, is that the right term?
Yeah.
The way, a healthier and better way of polyamorous relationships to work as opposed to over sexualized, basically glorified bigamy, which is how it's wrongly portrayed in pop culture a lot. And I think this shifts the focus to what it's more akin to. And I'm not saying that it's going to be relevant in later seasons, but I'm not saying it's not going to be relevant. So it's another reason I liked it.
Yeah,
it is setting the stage nicely for a healthy representation of polyamory.
It is quite
yeah.
one that maybe Asmodean can join.
Yeah, and Ivan and Maxim, they're so cute. They were so cute. That was, oh my god, it was such a cute, like, just like the playful teasing, just the cuddling by the campfire. It was just so sweet. And like, again, everyone else, like, no one bats an eye. Like, no one is like, ugh, these guys. Like, you know, like, it's just completely, you know.
Yeah, it's just cute.
Yeah.
I want to be very careful with how I word this because I don't want people getting the wrong idea. But what I loved most about that is that it sort of subverted how people treat male sexuality on TV. Because between heterosexual men, it's very, you know, very rough and tumble, and you don't show your emotions in your bros and your dudes, and you don't show affection to each other. And very often with gay men, queer men, it's very sexual and a focus on sex, which is not a bad thing. I loved watching Queer as Folk, like the original American version. It's great. But that's not the only type of male interaction. And seeing them be affectionate and not sexual was great. I'm not saying I don't want to see them be sexual later on in the show. And I don't want to be accused of like, oh, no kink at Pride or some bull crap like that. I'm just saying it's nice to see cuddles with men.
Yeah.
It's nice to see cute cuddles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm pretty excited because so in the video about like the Q&A with Rafe and a bunch of other actors that came out during JordanCon, he did mention that we should see more of like even Alana and Maxim in next season and get a bit deeper into their relationship. And I'm super excited about that because in the show I'm very intrigued by those characters. I want to know more about them, and yeah.
Okay. If that's all we have on those three lovely individuals, I think we're going to move on to number 2, which is just looking back, it's my favorite scene. I don't know why I ranked it number 3, but I did. But number 2 is from episode 3, and it is the moment that made Cawthor shippers squee with delight, and that is Rand saying, yeah, if I wanted a man, I could do better, in reference to Matt. And I love that moment so much. But I want to let somebody else talk about it before I go on my little rant.
It's just hilarious. It's also like Dana, and the conversation between Dana and Rand. It's just, I was not expecting something like that at all. And it is really taken as a matter of fact, like what Robert Jordan was talking about, like when he's mentioning homosexuality in his book. And like there's no homophobia when Dana asks whether, like, when Dana kind of assumes that they are a couple. And she says that in like nothing like a bit of slap and tickle to sort out relationship foes.
Which is a real phrase I found out, and I'm kind of disturbed by that.
What?
Yeah, yes. Slap and tickle is a real thing. I was reading a book, I forgot what book, and someone used slap and tickle, like actually, and it was a book preceding The Wheel of Time by, 10-something years. But yeah, it's an actual phrase. People really use it. I don't know why, but we're cursed. It was funny when Dana said it. I don't like the fact that it exists.
Why? It's such a fun way to say it.
It is a fun. I agree.
Just say fucking.
Just say fucking.
Just say fucking.
Yeah, but you know how American feels about the F word, so
I know we're very prudish. Yeah. I say as a prudish person.
I still don't get that.
I say as somebody from the most prudish part of the country. Look, I'm from the South. All of us, gay, straight, black, white, liberal, conservative, most Southerners are little blushing flowers.
Yeah, you're a prudish people.
We are. And I'm fine with that because you know what? We can cook better than the rest of the fucking country.
That is 100% true.
Oh my God.
So talking about prude, what do you think Dana meant? Like, what do you think Dana wanted to say with the end of her sentence? Like, it's none of my business what a man decides to do with his. And then she cut.
Cock. It's cock.
His little Peter Weeder.
Ew.
God.
Hi, Chad.
Oh,
Ew.
Chad is a friend of ours who says Peter Weeder.
Gosh, why?
It's really disgusting. No, don't acknowledge him. Don't.
Say hi to Chad.
No.
hello, Chad.
Hi, Chad.
You ruined it. I'll say hi to Chad in another context. So the thing I really liked about this, more than the if I wanted a man I could do better, was the little bit of slap and tickle. Because that was before today, I didn't know that was a real thing, and I just thought Dana was cute. But apparently it came to popularity from a 1978 single released by the band Squeeze.
Huh.
But it's British, it's stupid, and I refuse to acknowledge it. But you're right, now it's ruined. So thanks, Matt.
I'm glad I ruined something for you, James. I live for that moment.
Anyway, let's move on.
But I guess the reason that I love this scene so much is because, okay, yes, in book one, a lot of us shipped Matt and Rand, and I don't know a lot of people who shipped them after the first few books. I'm trying to, as a Galad Matt shipper myself and a Rand Asmodean shipper, I'm not the biggest Kothor shipper, but it was a great moment. And it was augmented by Rand's, oh, I'm here for you if you want me or whatever, to Matt in episode 4. And it fleshes out their relationship a bit. And it just goes into that male closeness that isn't necessarily sexual that I talked about with Maxim and Yvonne. Yeah, it's a great moment. And because we're not going to talk about it again, queer men in this show are not underrepresented. That's not the right word, but we haven't seen what I feel is the full potential of male queerness in the show. Because rightfully we were focused on another couple who is the focus of the number one spot. But before we get there, does anybody have anything to add about I Could Do Better?
I think what I really liked about that scene is that Rand definitely does not mind that was what Dana thought. And you have a lot of people, like straight people, when they are assumed to be in a relationship with a person of the same gender, where they kind of get offended. Kind of, why would you think that? Or no, we're just friends. And like it's always is, you have to proclaim that you are very straight in order to be sure that there's no mistaken. And Rand doesn't have this reaction, and it doesn't change his relationship with Matt after that, in a sense that he doesn't take any further distance because someone thought they were a couple.
It's a really good point.
There was no homo.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's literally, I mean, Camille, you said it much better than I would have articulated it. That's literally what, those are my thoughts as well. It was just, I mean, I think in the same kind of vein as Maxim and Yvonne, like or like not the same, but like, it's just that nobody cares.
It's there.
Yeah. It's just, it's just something that is. It's not being made into a thing. Rand doesn't have that, like, when she said that, part of me was kind of bracing for Rand to have that typical reaction that we are very, very used to with heterosexual men on TV, where someone says, like, assumes that they're with another man or whatnot, and they're just like, oh God, no. It's the no homo reaction, and it was just it was a breath of fresh air that wasn't what happened.
Yeah, exactly. It was, I can't have anything to add to that. It was a really great scene for those reasons. And with all that out of the way, we get to move on to the number one spot, which 3 of us voted as number 1 and 1 person voted as number 2. and it's the scene that I call my little pufferfish.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as the Moraine Swan reveal in episode 6, when they meet up in a love shack and on your knees and all that good stuff.
It's
It was just
little place where we can get together.
What the fuck?
Pussy Shack, baby.
okay. So you can badly sing Pussy Shack, but I say the word pussy, and it's oh god, no, Matt can't say it.
It sounds wrong and rude when you say it. It's homophobic when you say it.
It's what phobic?
What?
It's homophobic when you say it.
You're homophobic.
I cannot with all of you.
I'm homophobic against you specifically.
Well,
Anyway, so let's talk about Moraine and Swan.
yes.
I like that scene. So that scene is kind of 4 different parts. You have first Lan suddenly showing up because Moraine masks the bond, which is, I love that she say it's been at least 2 years, and it's not just about her giving him a break. It's also, dude, I haven't fucked in 2 years.
Yes. She's like, I'm about to get fucked. You need to leave.
You need to leave.
Yeah, and I like that Lan said, "Give her my love."
Yes.
It's cute.
Yeah. That he is, because I think he's the only one outside of the two of them that's aware of their relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as we know.
I mean, I assume if Suan's warder exists, then he would know, but maybe not, because they would she would mask her bond a lot, probably.
Yeah,
I imagine so. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
We really couldn't have ranked any other moment as number 1.
No,
it's iconic. It's for so many reasons. It solidified and canonized a queer relationship between a main character in a fantasy show, and it really pissed off the bigots. And for that, so many people showed their ugly ass syphilis looking bigotry in this episode. And you know what? The show's not for you. It's for the gays now. And you can just go watch your Breaking Bad or whatever. Sorry for Breaking Bad fans. I'm sure it's a good show. Don't kill me.
No one's going to cancel you, Matt.
It's Twitter. Someone's always looking to cancel somebody for something.
Someone's always on the lookout.
Okay, I dare someone to please cancel Matt for something.
For not liking Breaking Bad.
Oh, that's gonna be quick to do.
Oh, you know what?
Oh my god.
No, but like we're all like gays, and we like to be controversial sometimes. I mean,
controversial yet brave.
Yeah, so we can be cancelled. It happens. Sometimes it doesn't last long.
Cancel me, bitches.
If it's something serious, usually it's we made a mistake and then we apologize. If it's something not serious, like I don't like that TV show, it's fine.
We'll recover.
Unless that TV show is The Wheel of Time, in which case we're gonna throw down.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I mean, no, that's fine. We all love The Wheel of Time, so we're good. So anyway, we only talked about the first part of that scene, and then we get the reveal of Moraine going to see Swan, and I love them.
I know. It's just...
Do we want to just take a moment of silence just to appreciate it?
We cannot, because I'm erasing every silence.
Oh, right.
No one wants to listen to silence.
No, it was just, I mean, that scene was, my expectations were high because that's the type of person I am. But so I had high expectations, and I was expecting to have them dashed. I was expecting that it was not going to measure up to what I was imagining, that wasn't going to be as good. And then when we got that whole sequence, it was somehow more than I was expecting it to be. You know, just like from like when Moraine first enters and sees her and she calls her mother and like playfully, and Swan's like, I hate it when you call me that, with just like this very like chastising tone, which says like Moraine has definitely called her that teasingly before.
It's very well written.
Yeah.
My expectation was pretty low. In the sense that I really thought they were gonna go the easy way, and if they wanted to acknowledge that relationship, say it was a relationship from the past and move on. But no, they're still together and they're still strong and they're still trying despite the time and the distance and the difficulties of having to hide their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I love also like this scene, especially you get some expressions that are very Swan, like skin me and salt me. It's something that appears in New Spring.
Yeah.
We get I love also like the no life, no love of one's own, nothing but the seed. I liked it during the scene. I liked it a lot after when the lyrics of Al Nato came out, and turns out that was the lyric of that song. And the world fandom basically sung on that song back in September when it came out. And I just found it so funny that the first song that came out was the gayest song of the show, because it's basically what she says to Moraine in that scene. And the world fandom was behind that.
Yeah, it was just it was a really cute scene, but that was also really, really kind of a little sad. However, it did end with Moraine, switching the roles and saying the iconic line, the most iconic line.
On your knees.
Yeah. And it was an ad lib. It wasn't even in the script. It was an ad lib.
Yeah.
I love
makes
that.
it even better.
Yeah.
It's just like their understanding of those two characters, it blew me away.
And the fact that like Sophie Okonedo just went down. I'm like, girl, like that was your reaction?
Yeah.
Like she smiled coyly and then she just slowly lowered, and I was like, when I found out that was an ad lib, that's like my favorite moment from the entire show.
So good.
It already was mostly, but
to be fair, an ad lib doesn't mean that in the specific scene that we see it was the first time she was saying that.
That's true.
It means that it's not in the script and they could have discussed before, and I thought it would be a great moment for Moraine to say that instead. So
please don't ruin this for me. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but it's
Oh, it's important that you're right. I understand. You're being right is more important than my happiness. It's all
That's
good.
not true.
And yet.
I'm sorry, James.
And it also brings sparks Matt joy.
It sparks joy.
Okay, Marie Kondo.
I think my favorite part of the whole scene is really when Moraine starts ranting about like the search and not knowing less than before and not knowing who was the dragon, then kind of panicking about that, and like Moraine saying, well, say something, and Swan, I will when your spikes retract, you little puffer fish. Damn you can't get away with that every time. It's I love that for them. It's cute nickname, and knowing each other enough to know when someone just needs some breath, so like to take a break, and it's
I mean, I remember watching that scene and thinking about moments similar to that with my girlfriend and I, where I am feeling a lot of emotions, and my girlfriend is like, I'm gonna let you get it out. You process what you need to process, and then we can go forward. And it's just very like, I think it really shows the depth of their relationship, and just, these are two people who have been together since they were quite young. Like they've been together for, I imagine, half of their lives at this point. And it shows. This scene really, really shows how well they know each other and how long they've been together. And it's impressive that they were able to establish that just with like a few lines.
Yeah, it's really good writing. Like it's just from a writing standpoint, it's a very well done scene because there's no explanation. The old adage, show don't tell. They definitely showed, and I don't mean like visually, but they gave us the sense of a well-worn old relationship without telling us or having them it's been so many years since I've seen you, you're the love of my life, that corny stuff. And the reason it's so corny is because it's explaining and it's info dumping instead of just showing the audience the relationship. And that scene worked perfectly on all levels, from the the queer squeeing, fangirling out, and just the mechanics of the writing. It was probably the most perfect scene of this season.
And the episode got nominated for Hugo, right?
Yeah.
Hugo, yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh.
I'm interested whether they'll be able to win or not. They have tough competition.
Yeah. So that is a tough category.
Yeah, I remember that the last episode of Arcane is in that.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember. There's an episode of The Expanse that's up as well.
I haven't watched The Expanse, so I don't know what that corresponds to.
It is very good. Yeah.
One day I will.
I will say one thing that people were mad about during this episode, or during this scene specifically, that I think people just need to shut the fuck up about is the magical lesbian gateway ter'angreal.
Oh.
Just accept it for what it is.
It's the least important part of that scene.
ter'angreals are for the gays only.
I really did not got the issue because we do have in the book series a few ter'angreals that transport people to different places.
I mean, the common theory is it's like some kind of shared dream shard, but people are just mad because the lesbians have access to a lesbian magical gateway ter'angreal. And I just want people to shut the fuck up.
The lesbangreal.
No, that one didn't work quite as well.
No. Well, so yeah, that is our top 10. I think it's a great top 10, and I am hoping, and I know with Rafe steering the wheel, we're going to have a lot more in season 2 to talk about, specifically with Rand and Asmodean.
Asmodean will not make an appearance in season 2.
Well, you know what? Whenever Asmodean does make an appearance, he has to have a redemption arc, and he's redeemed by Rand's dragon.
No.
Yes.
All right. So
outro time.
I'm just gonna go straight into the outro here because
If people have different top 10, please comment and send us your top 10.
If we forgot one of the moments.
Oh yes. Send me all of your hate mail for how I was so wrong with the gay muttering of Suan.
If we did miss one of your favorite moments and you want to gush and enthuse about how much you loved that moment that we missed, please let us know, because we do want to know if we missed something. If you want to complain, please go fuck yourself. If you have any other ideas for what you want us to do in further episodes, we do have a Patreon, but I think I'll let James get to that with the outro.
Yes. Alrighty. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Queers of Time podcast. You can find us on social media at Queers of Time, as well as our Discord server. If you liked our show and are interested in supporting us, please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/queersoftime. This Patreon helps us cover the costs associated with producing the podcast and makes it a little bit easier for us to get queer content to you on a regular basis. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.